Country Cookin'. I'm your hostess, Cindy Schumacher. On today's show, we're going to be making country brunch pie, fruit salad with banana dressing, blue banana muffins, and homemade granola. So we're going to kind of have some fun things that you can maybe try now that school's going to be starting and everything. I'm going to start making the crumble topping first. It takes a half cup of sugar, a third cup of flour, and a fourth cup of softened butter. So I'm going to use a pastry blender. Going. These are one of the best recipes that I've ever found for muffins. They're very moist. My husband normally doesn't like muffins because he thinks they're always dry, and these are not dry. And I actually, when blueberries are on sale in the store in the summer, I buy lots of them and put them in the freezer. You can use them, your blueberries fresh or frozen, for this recipe. But and they freeze well, and you can thaw them out when you have company or whenever. So I think you'll love these muffins. I'm gonna set that aside, and we'll start working on the batter. I have 3/4 cup of melted butter, and to that I'm going to add a cup of granulated sugar. Next, we're going to add 2 beaten eggs. After that's combined, then we're going to sprinkle over the top 2 teaspoons of baking powder, half teaspoon of salt, half teaspoon of cinnamon, and a 1/4 teaspoon of nutmeg. I'm going to stir that in. I have 2 cups of white flour. I'll put about half of it in, about a cup of it in. And I have a half cup of milk. I'm going to stir a little bit of that in, about half of it. Then we'll add the rest of the flour and the rest of the milk. Okay, now this recipe calls for a cup of frozen banana. So, and I never throw away any bananas. If they start to get too brown, I peel them, freeze them in Ziploc bags, and so this recipe works perfect for it. If you're making this recipe and you don't have the frozen bananas and you're using fresh, it still works. It seems like the frozen bananas makes it just a little bit more moist. So we're going to stir in the frozen bananas. And then the recipe calls for a cup of blueberries, and what you do is wash them and then toss them with a tablespoon of flour. I use just a little bit more than a cup of blueberries personally because I just love blueberries. And so I've got that tossed with the flour, and that way then your blueberries won't sink in your muffin. And they recommend that you don't use cupcake liners for this, that you grease the bottom of your bottom only of your muffin tins. And so that's what I have done. We're going to just fold in the blueberries. And then we'll fill our muffin tins. Now, if you want a copy of any of these recipes and you don't have internet, give the girls at Valley a call. They'd be happy to help you with a copy of the recipe. You're going to love this one, I guarantee you 100%. So do yourself a favor and try this one. If you do have internet, you just go to the Valley homepage, www.valleytal.net. You'll find the Country Cooking Cow. Click on that and you'll find the recipes. We're going to take a quick break while I fill these muffin tins. We'll be right back.
Blazing fast broadband internet from Valley is now available and better than ever. Let us help you decide which speed is best for you. The 50 meg speed would be sufficient for 1 to 4 devices, mainly emailing and surfing the web. Our 100 meg speed works great for 5 to 8 devices and multiple users streaming and downloading video. If you have 8 devices or more that are simultaneously streaming or gaming, or if you have a medium-sized business, the 250 meg speed would work best for you. For extreme heavy home or work from home use, or if you have a medium to large business using 15 or more devices, you may want to consider our 500 meg download speed to fit your needs. And if you're a home or business that needs it all, we have our 1000 meg, 1 gig broadband internet speed. Call our office today at 437-2615 and talk with one of our staff members to pick the speed that's best for you.
Okay, I've got the muffin tins filled. You fill them about 3/4 full, and then you put the topping on. I've already done a couple just to save a little time because you don't have to watch me do it over and over again. So this recipe will make anywhere from a dozen to a dozen and a half, depending on, like me, where I use the extra blueberries. It takes a little more space, but we'll get these going. Got 375, and that's for about 25 to 30 minutes. Okay, in the meantime, I started browning a half a pound of bulk pork sausage. I'm using the German brand of sausage. You can use a hotter sausage or something if you like. And I'm breaking it up with my handy dandy little chopper that's from Pampered Chef that I couldn't live without. Now for this recipe, you need a deep dish pie plate, and I ahead of time, just to save us a little time, I did a 1 crust pie crust. You put it in, you flute it, you prick it, and then you bake it in the oven at 400 for 5 minutes with a double sheet of heavy-duty aluminum foil. 5 minutes, then you take the foil off, and then you bake it for an additional 5 minutes, so it's a little bit pre-baked, so it's not, you won't have doughy because it, you've got a lot of stuff on there. So we'll get this sausage going, and as soon as this is brown, we're going to put it right in the bottom of the crust. Takes a few more minutes. Guess we could start working on the granola while we're waiting for that to brown. This recipe I got from a friend of mine, Lori, and we use it a lot. I love it for just eating like cereal or just a handful of it or on your yogurt. So you start out with a big bowl, 4 cups of oats, the regular, not the quick cook. You want the bigger, fluffier oats. And then you have, I've pre-chopped ahead of time, 3/4 cup of almonds, 3/4 cup of pecans, a 1/2 cup of sunflower seeds, 3/4 cup of grape nuts cereal, and wheat germ. Looks like this if you aren't familiar with wheat germ. You buy it in the cereal area. This is 3/4 cup, right? We're gonna mix this together. So it looks like that. And I'm going to get back to the sausage. So I'm going to drain that. Okay, you take the 1/2 pound of sausage and you put it in the bottom of your pie plate. Okay, over the top of that, you take 3/4 cup of shredded mozzarella cheese. We have 4 large eggs. I'm going to beat those up a little bit. To that, I'm going to add a cup of 1/2 and 1/2. Now I'm going to stir in a 1/4 cup of finely chopped green pepper, 1/4 cup of finely chopped sweet red pepper, 2 tablespoons of finely chopped onion, and 4 ounces of stems and pieces mushrooms. We'll stir that together. Pour it over the top. This will bake at 375 for 40 to 45 minutes, so we'll get it going in the oven. Looks like this. It actually even looks pretty before you put it in. Okay, now I want to remind you, if you want a copy of any of these recipes, if you don't have internet, give the girls at Valley a call. They'd be happy to help you with a copy. If you do have internet, go to the Valley homepage. You'll find the Country Cookin' Cow. Click on there. You'll find the recipe. We'll be right back.
Get 3 months free access on all lines, plus a new 4G smartphone for only $4.99 a month. 2 great offers with Valley Cellular. Call Valley today at 437-2615 to take advantage of this great deal.
Okay, we're going to make this. We're going to make the syrup for the granola. I have a 1/2 cup of firmly packed light brown sugar, teaspoon of salt. A half cup of vegetable oil. A fourth cup of maple syrup. And then a half teaspoon of cinnamon. This also calls for a half teaspoon of vanilla, but you want to add that after it's come to a boil and the sugar is dissolved. So we're gonna get this cooking. And the muffins are about ready to come out. What I do with the muffins is I put you want to leave them in the muffin tin for probably 20 minutes or so, 20 minutes to a half hour, so that they cool in the pan, and then they'll slip out really easily. So get these out here. Okay, well those are cooling and this is cooking. We're going to go over to the banana dressing for the fruit. I have 2 ripe bananas in my blender. I'm going to add a cup of sour cream. You can use full fat, or if you'd rather use the reduced fat, whichever you prefer. It doesn't really make a difference in the taste of it at all. 5 tablespoons of brown sugar, and a teaspoon and a half of lemon juice. You can use fresh lemon juice if you want. I'm using the bottled real lemon. That lemon juice will actually be twofold, actually, for flavoring and for preserving the dressing if you have it in your refrigerator for a day or so. Just push it down a little bit here on the side. I'm going to chill this for just a few minutes, and then we'll combine our fruit and pour it over the top. I found a lot of different dressings that you can put on fruit. Of course, everybody knows the cream cheese and marshmallow cream, or there's all kinds of citrusy ones and everything. I just thought this was a little different. It's out of the cookbook that I got from my friend Sherry in St. Louis, and from these 2 little gals that have a couple of restaurants, and I always have good luck with their recipes. So we're going to combine the fruit. I'm using a cantaloupe. It called for a fresh pineapple, a whole fresh pineapple. My store didn't have any at the time, so I bought pineapple chunks and drained them. I've got a couple of oranges here that I have sectioned. I missed a seed here. Grapes, you can use red or green. I'm using a little bit of both. Strawberries, I've got about a quart there. 2 kiwis that I've sliced. And then blueberries. And you can just eye that and see how many that you want. I'm gonna kind of give it a little bit of a stir. Lower that, it's come to a boil. We'll just let that sugar dissolve a little. Okay. There's our fruit salad. I'm going to take this off the heat and stir in the half teaspoon of vanilla. And then you just pour it over the granola. Get another spatula here that I can stir with. You want to make sure that you keep stirring until it's coated. And then we're going to put this in the oven at 325. Once the quiche comes out, put it in at 325 for about 20 minutes. You want to stir it at about the 10-minute interval. I have a cookie sheet that I've lined with parchment paper just to make it easier for cleanup for me. So spread it out. If you want it to be a thinner layer, you can spread it on 2 cookie sheets. It seems to work fine for me to just do it on 1 large cookie sheet. And then after this bakes, we'll spread it back out again, and we're going to stir in a half cup of dried cranberries and a half cup of dried dates. If you want to add a little bit more than that, sometimes I do because I like the fruit in it. So we'll just wait a few minutes for the quiche to get done, and then we'll pop this in the oven. I'll be right back.
Faster than fast internet is here. Valley now has higher broadband speeds of up to 1 gigabit. Get the bandwidth you need for all your devices at one time. Gaming with no lag time. Video stream your favorite movies instantly in HD quality. Video chat with friends and family without interruption. Download your favorite music and photos in seconds. All on our 100% fiber optics network. Valley offers managed Wi-Fi and backup services too, bringing together all the services you need. Valley Telecommunications Cooperative.
Okay, the granola's done. Now what you want to do is spread it out on a surface so that it cools and so that it doesn't clump together. So we're just going to go ahead and spread it on the counter. You want to spread it out as thinly as you can to try to eliminate the clumps. And then as it cools some more, you want to break up any clumps that may have snuck up on you. Then you take a half cup of dried cranberries and you sprinkle that all over. And then they didn't have any dried dates in the store when I bought these, so I bought fresh pitted dates. So then they are a little bit sticky, but you want to just kind of spread them out as good as you can. Just want to remind you again, if you want a copy of any of these recipes and you don't have internet, give the girls at Valley a call. They'd be happy to get you a copy. If you do have internet, just go to the Valley homepage, www.valleytel.net, and you'll see the Country Cookin' Cow on there. Click on that, and that'll get you the recipes. We're going to scoop up a little bit here. Okay. I'm going to toss the dressing over the fruit. I've let the quiche sit for about 10 minutes so that it sets up. And there you have it. We've got our country brunch pie, our fruit salad with banana dressing, our blue banana muffins, and our homemade granola. Thanks for joining us on this segment of Country Cookin'. We hope to see you next time.